Daf Chof Dalet Amud Beis, 7 lines from the top. We learned previously about the Isra and the Chiyuv Misa of a Zar, of a non-Kohen who does the Avodah, that is Chayiv Misa. The Pasuk says, V'ata uvenecha idcha tishmu es k'menaschem l'chol dvar mizbech ulemi beis laparoiches v'avadatem avedas matana etin es k'menaschem v'azar hakarav yumas. That's where the Torah says that Azar hakarav yumas, that if Azar does the Avodah, is Chayiv Misa. But it says in the Pasuk v'avadatem, so we darshan that it has to be Avodah Tama. Where is there a Chiyuv Misa? Where is an Avodah Tama? A complete Avodah, not an intermediary stage where it's the conclusion of the Avodah. So for instance, the Zrika of the Dam. However, if there's a Kabbalas Adam and Hailacha, which is not the complete stage, after it comes the Zrika. So there, in that middle stage, if a Zar does it, then he's not Chayiv Misa. Similarly, it says in the Pasuk, Avodas Matana. It says Avodas Matana, of an application, of putting something on the Mizbeach, but not removal. Therefore, removing something from the Mizbeach, if it's a removal, then he's potter. Then there is no Chiyuv Misa. We had a Machlokes Rav and Levi. What about the Dishon of the Mizbeach HaChitzon, rather the Trumas HaDeshen, the removing of the Deshen from the Mizbeach HaChitzon? What would be in that case? Is that considered to be an Avodah Siluk? It's a removal, not Matana. Do we similarly say that therefore the Zar would be potter if he does that, or do we say it's Chayiv? So Rav says there is no difference between the Mizbeach HaChitzon, whether it's the Azara or the Kodesh Kodashim, there's no difference, and therefore he says that a Zar who does the Trumas HaDeshen would be potter. But Levi says no, he's Chayiv, because this that it says that it has to be an Avodas Matana, the Pasuk says Ulemi Beis Lapareches. It has to be, that's in the Kodesh Kodashim. So where we have this Patur is in the base in the Kodesh Kodashim, but in the Azara there's no Patur. That's how Levi learns. So now, boy, Rav, we have the following Shaila Avodah Siluk Behechal Mahu. What about in the Hechal? We talked about the Kodesh Kodashim, we talked about the Azara, but what about in the Hechal? For instance, if there would be the Dishon of the Menorah, the removal of the ashes and the wicks from the Menorah, or the Dishon of the Zmeich Hazav. Lifni Medaminalei, do we compare it to the Kodesh Kodashim, and therefore there's no Chiyuv Misa, or Lechutz Medaminalei, or do we compare it to the Azara, and there would be a Chiyuv Misa? Hadar Pashta, he answers as follows, he resolves it. It says, the Pasuk says, Ula mi base. It doesn't say mi base. Now, it could have said mi base. It could have said mi base la pareches. It says ula mi base la pareches. So therefore, the extra ula mi base is now a broadening, expanding it, and therefore it includes also that the heichal has the same din as the kodesh kadoshim, and therefore he is potter. So now, frag the Gemara Elami Zar Shasira Esa Shulchan L'Chayev. Well, if the Zar is Misara the Shulchan, you should say he's Chayev. That we should say that there should be a Chiyuv Misa for a Zar being Misara the Shulchan. Since it's an Avodas Matana, therefore we should say that he's Chayev since it's an Avodas Matana. And why was that not listed by Rav as one of the cases where there is a Chiyuv Misa? Since putting on the Lechem Aponim, you put the bread on the Shulchan, so therefore it's an Avodas Matana. So therefore, since you're doing an Avodas Matana, now even though it's in the Heichal, but that chiluk between the Azara and the Kodesh Kadoshim and the Heichal, that chiluk is only as far as an avodah of siluk, but as far as an avodah matana, there's no chiluk. So therefore, the Zar should say, he should be chayiv. The Gemara says, no, he's not, because it's not an avodah tama, ikasir bazichan. It's not complete. It doesn't complete the sequence, because after that you have to put the spoons of the levina. You have to be masada that, put that on the shulchan, on the table. Okay, but therefore, if he now once he sets the spoons of the levoina on the table, he should be chayiv for that. Why wasn't that mentioned? Again, it's ikas siluk v'haktorah. It's not complete. It's only a middle stage because thereafter, at the end of the week, the following Shabbos, you have to remove it and you have to burn the levaina on the mizbeach. It has to be burnt on the mizbeach. So therefore, that is not considered to be an avodah tama. Fine, but why doesn't it mention the haktorah of the levaina? So the Ritva answers, but he does mention haktorah. This is included in the broader category of haktorah, so it's not mentioned separately. The Gemara, well, still, zar shesider esem menorah lechayev. Why, if the zar he's masada, he arranges the menorah, why isn't he chayev for that? That's an avodas matana. Or it says ikon nesinas psila. It's not complete because you have to put the wicks. You have to put the wicks in each of the lamps. Well, if the zar put the psil, it should be chayiv. It's an avodas matana. You're putting in the wicks. No, the Gemara says it's not complete. Ikon nesinas shemen because you still have to put in the oil. Well, putting in the oil should be listed because you should be chayiv for that. It's avodas matana. When it says no, hadlaka, it's not the concluding avodah because you have to do the hadlaka. You have to light the menorah. Well, what about lighting? It should be chayiv. When it says hadlaka lav avodah, that's not considered in this context an avodah because the person who lights the menorah, he just applies the flame to the wick, and then it burns on its own. So it happens with mela. So therefore, it's not considered to be an avodah. It's not considered to be an avodah. So there's a machlekes rishonim. The Rambam holds it's not an avodah. So theoretically, if someone removed the menorah and brought it outside into the azara and the azara lit it, would be kosher. But other rishonim argue with that. The Taisus Harash, maybe other Rishonim argue and they say, no, it's not the pshat that it's not an avodah at all, and a zar is allowed to do it. It just means for in the context of a zar having chayiv misa, we're machalek and say that there's no chiyuv misa, but not that he's allowed to do it. So I'll go upon him in this context at least. We say hadlok is not an avodah. It's not. Hadlok is not an avodah. Tanya, we learned in the Brisa. We were taught in the Brisa of an awesome b'nei Aaron kain eish al mizbeach va'archa eitzim aleish. It says that the kahanim have to arrange the fire. They arrange the wood on the fire. They place the fire on the mizbeach and they arrange the wood. Limit al atzatas alisa shaloi te'ela b'kain kasher. That teaches you that for the mizbeach, they had to kindle the chips, the wood chips, in order to ignite the log of the marocha that was on the mizbeach. And it teaches you, since it says, V'nasa b'nei Aaron, that has to be, it has to be done with a kain who is kosher, and he has his bigdei kahuna. The more answers, Hatzosas alisa avodah, adloka lav avodah. Hatzosas alisa, yes, that's more significant. It's more of an effort to kindle, to light the chips of wood, to make sure that there's a fire, and strong enough fire to ignite the logs. But the wick, which is very small, it's insignificant. It's just applying the flame to the wick, which goes out on its own. It's not an effort that he has to be kindling it and making sure and applying it to make sure that it's a proper fire. Back to Gemara. Well, why don't we list in the list that if a zar, it was a masad of the maroch, he arranges the wood on the mizbeach, then he should be chayev. More answers, it's not complete. Because you have to put the logs, the 2 blocks of wood, on the pyre. In fact, well, why doesn't it list the Siddur Shnei Gzir? More answers, Ika Siddur Evorim. Yeah, but after that, you have to put the Evorim, to burn the limbs, the Evorim, on the Mizbeach, on the fire. So therefore, it's not considered an Avodah Tama, it's not considered complete. In fact, the Gemara, what do you mean? He does say that the Siddur of the Shnei Gzira Eitzim is considered a complete Avodah Tama, and a Zar is Chayiv for that. Where says in Chanami. But that's Machlokes. He considers it to be the Avodah Tama, but Rav does not. Baha Pligi, this is Machlokes, Mar Savar Avodah Tami. Rav Yochanan holds it's Avodah Tama. Umar Savar, but Rav Savar Lav Avodah Tama. He holds it's not an Avodah Tama. So the Machlokes is, do we consider the Shnei Gzira Eitzim to be the conclusion of that set, of that Seder? Meaning, there's a Seder of the Maracha arranging the Mizbeach, and therefore the Shnei Gzira Eitzim completes that. That's what Rav Yochanan holds, and therefore Rav Yochanan holds that the Zar does is Chayiv Misa. Rav says no, it's in the broader category of burning on the Mizbeach, which is completed with the Evorim. So therefore the Shnei Gzira is only an intermediary stage. Tanya Kavase, the Rav, so we had the Machlokes Rav and Levi, is for the Trumas Adeshin. Is a Zar Chayav, Tanya Kavase the Rav, and Tanya Kavase the Levi. And we have a Raya for each one of them. Tanya Kavase the Rav, a Brisa that supports Rav, Avedas, Shazar Chayav Aleim Misa, the Avedas which is Zars, Chayav Misa Vidazan, Zrikas Dam, Bein Lifnim, Bein Lifnai Lifnim. It says Zrikas Dam, whether it's Lifnim, whether it's Misnayil name, it's Zrikas Adam, whether it's on the Mizbeach Achitzan, whether it's in the Heichal, whether it's towards the Pareiches, whether it's in the Fnayil name, by the Oren, Zrikas Adam towards the Oren. V'amaz b'chatas ha'if, and one who sprinkles the blood of echatas ha'if. V'amaktir b'oilas ha'if, v'amamatz v'amaktir b'oilas ha'if. And if he squeezes out the blood, or he is a maktir, or he burns the oilus oif. The oilus oif requires also mitzvah adam, squeezing the bird, the neck to the side of the mizbeach, and it has to be burned. All of that, azar is chayim misa v'amenasach shlo shalugin mayim shlo shalugin yain, and he does nisuch hamayim or nisuch hayayin. In all these cases, chayiv. Now, what do we see over here? It does not mention Trumas Hadeshin, so that's a riot Rav. That Trumas Hadeshin is not an Avodah that is chayiv misa, because it's considered to be an Avodah Siluk, not Avodah Matana. Tanya Gavasa de Levi, Brisa that supports Levi, Avodah Shazar Chayiv Aleim Misa, Hamer Mesedeshin, so it says specifically Hamer Sedeshin, Trumas Hadeshin. He is chayiv v'sheva hazoish b'fnim, and the sprinkling of the blood that's done b'fnim usha b'mitzaira, and the 7 sprinklings that are done in the case of the mitzaira, the shemen of the mitzaira. V'amalik amizbeach bein davar kosher bein davar pasul. If he puts something on mizbeach to burn, whether it's kosher or whether it's not, he's still chayiv for doing that. And that even if the evorim or pedorim are pasul, and the animal has to be burnt outside, nevertheless, that if he puts on the mizbeach, he's chayim. So you see clearly over here a raya to Levi. The Mishnah continues that there was a payas 4 times during the day. The Gemara, lama mafisim, why do they make this goyrel? The Gemara, lama mafisim, get on. What do you mean, why do they make it? Like we said because we have to allocate the avodas, and the doing it without a girl led to a sakana. Ella, what I mean is lama mefisim v'chayzim mefisim. Why did they do it 4 times? Why not do it all at once? Why do it and do it again 4 times? It says in order to make an excitement and do it several times a day and create an excitement and a commotion in the Azara. It says, together we will sweeten the site. We'll go to the Beis Elokim with regish, with the excitement, with enthusiasm. So therefore, they do it several times during the day. But the Kohanim, how are they dressed when they make the girl? It's not an avoda. Do they have to have the big day kahuna, or can they wear big day chol? Rav Nachman Omar b'big day chol. He says b'big day chol v'rashesha summer b'big day kaidish. Rav Nachman Omar b'big day chol. He says you do it big day chol. The Omar b'big day kaidish. If you say in big day kaidish ikabale zroyes to chamtzi vavde, There would be strong-armed people. There would be people who would be strong and chospedic, and they would be wearing the Big Day Kodesh. And even if they lost the girl, they would just go ahead and charge ahead and do the avodah. Rashesh is some of Big Day Kodesh. He says the Big Day Kodesh, the Big Day Chol. If you say Big Day Chol, Agav Chavivusa Mikre V'Avde. If the one who actually won the girl, the one who actually was Zaycha, he might be so excited and so full of enthusiasm that he might go ahead and charge ahead to do the Avodah. And he's wearing Big Day Chol, it would be possible. So he wears Big Day Kodesh so that if he wins and if he goes and he gets so excited and full of enthusiasm, if he goes ahead and does the Avodah, he'll be wearing the proper Big Day Kodesh. The more we'll discuss this machlokes through the following Amud.